Greetings, I'm Mr. Grandfather 2 with Dark 987, and welcome everybody to another edition of Rip from the Silverscreen. Tonight, me and Dark 987 are going to give you guys our review for the 1981 sequel to the 1978 classic, Halloween 2. Now, we talked about the first one last year for Rip from the Silverscreen. And when we were talking about the 2018 remake, when we were talking about the 2018 remake, Night talked about this movie a little bit. So we're gonna, as always, we're gonna go to the plot, and we're gonna talk about this. So, okay, so this movie is directed by Rick Rosenthal this time, who's taken control of it from John Carpenter. This was written and produced by Deborah Hill and John Carpenter. This film stars Jamie Lee Curtis and the late Donald Pleasence. And John Carpenter is doing the music with Alan Howarth on this film. So, okay, so we're going to take it to the plot and talk about it. So here we go. Yeah. On October 31st, 1978, Michael Myers is shot and falls off a balcony. Taking shelter to recover from his injuries, Michael steals a kitchen knife from the home of an elderly couple and kills a teenage girl living next door. Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, who narrowly avoided being killed by Michael earlier in the night, is taken to Haddonfield Memorial Hospital, while Michael's psychiatrist, Dr. Sam Loomis, played by the late Donald Pleasence, continues his pursuit of his patient. Accompanied by Sheriff Lee Brackett, Loomis mistakes teenager Ben Tramer for Michael. When Ben gets hit by a squad car, which pins him to another vehicle that bursts into flames, killing him. Poor dude. Upon learning his daughter Annie was killed by Michael, Sheriff Brackett goes off duty to inform his wife, leaving Deputy Gary Hunt in charge to help Loomis. At the hospital, paramedic Jimmy becomes attracted to Laurie. Michael discovers Laurie's location after overhearing a news broadcast and makes his way to the hospital. Upon arrival, he cuts the phone lines and disables the cars. He wanders the halls in search of Laurie, killing security guards, doctors, and nurses that get in his way. Jimmy and Nurse Jill Franco search the hospital for Laurie, who is trying to evade Michael. Jimmy finds the corpse of head nurse Virginia Alves, and slips in a pool of blood on the floor, hitting his head and leaving himself unconscious. While Laurie wanders the hospital, she has a few dreams in which she recalls learning that she was adopted and had been with preteen Michael. This is when the brother bullshit comes into play. Meanwhile, Loomis is informed that Michael had broken into the local elementary school. As he investigates, he discovers clues connecting Michael to Sam Hain and the occult, which might explain his apparent indestructibility. But his colleague, Marion Chambers, arrives to escort him back to Smith's Grove on the governor's orders under the enforcement of a U.S. Marshal. Along the way, Marion tells Loomis that Laurie is Michael's sister. Now tell me this, do you really believe that? Okay, so Laurie was put up for adoption after the death of Michael's parents, with the record sealed to protect the family. With the realization that Michael was after Laurie and being told that she was being taken to Haddonfield Memorial, Loomis forces the marshal to drive back to Haddonfield. After killing Jill, a scalpel-wielding Michael finds and pursues Laurie through the hospital. She flees to the parking lot and hides in Jimmy's car. Regaining consciousness, Jimmy exits the hospital and reunites with Laurie, but falls unconscious again due to his earlier head injury. On the steering wheel horn, Loomis, Marion, and the marshal reach the hospital just in time to save Laurie as Michael reappears. As Marion attempts to contact the police, Michael kills the marshal. Loomis and Laurie are chased by Michael into an operating theater. Michael stabs Loomis in the stomach, wounding him, but Laurie shoots Michael in the eyes, blinding him. Loomis and Laurie fill the room with ether and oxygen gas. Loomis orders Laurie to run and proceeds to cause an explosion, blowing up the operating room with him and Michael inside, immolating them both in the fire. Michael, engulfed in the flames, stumbles out of the room before finally falling down. The next morning, a traumatized Laurie is transferred to another hospital, thus ending Halloween 2. Okay, so this is where we find out. This is where we go. Where we find out of the whole sister situation.
Yeah.
And this was the. This along with the other sequels were thrown out of existence, and they said that the Halloween 2018 remake was the main sequel to the 78 movie. So but this is what I think. I think they could have just kept the whole Okay. What did you think of the sister thing?
You remember in the zombie version of Halloween, after Michael kills, the sister and the douchebag of the stepfather, I guess.
Yeah.
He came around the house holding a baby, which that was his little sister, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but in the original, you don't see that. You see Michael with a knife in the original, looking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that from the first film, revealing that Laurie was actually his sister. That totally got me. I mean, that totally got me.
Yeah. Yeah. So, this film here was criticized by film critics over the gore and the violence and all this other stuff. Which is stupid. I don't know, man. Okay. I like this movie. I just didn't like the sister thing. The whole sister thing. Because it didn't make sense. Like, it didn't make sense one freaking bit at all. Yeah, I think this movie deserves a lot more credit than what the critics were saying about it. But yeah, I think this movie deserves a little bit more credit than what it got. But was Halloween 2 better than the original one? Sorta. What did you think of Halloween 2, dude?
I thought it was good. It was a good movie. I mean, it continues from where part one left off, and that's what I like. When you have the first film ends, it leaves you thinking, what's going to happen next? And then you have part two, it continues from where that one left off.
Yeah.
But Michael wants to finish what he started,
Yeah.
That was, in part one, Laurie still, she survives, and there's this action, her friends are killed, but she somehow survives, and so, I mean, I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah. So I think me and him would agree that this film deserves 10 out of 10. Much like the other one did, this film deserves it as well. But this this guys is when we're gonna get into the other sequels. Next year we're gonna get into Halloween 3. People hated Halloween 3.
And I think you should know why, because it didn't feature Michael Myers.
Yeah. So, is Halloween? We'll find out next year what happens with Halloween 3. So, but yeah, that's gonna be it for now. For Rip from the Silverscreen. I'm gonna give you guys two reactions here in a minute, and I'm also gonna give you guys a cover for the Reaper sessions as well. So let me know in the comment section what y'all guys thought about Halloween 2. Do you think that Halloween 2 should be remembered, or do you think that the sequels should be erased completely? Let me know in the comment section down below and all that. I don't think so. I think I kind of thought that Season of the Witch was okay. If I were gonna say so myself. And this is also the time to. The sequels are also the time too, is when they get into this occult situation with Michael and Daniel Harris's character in the sequels and the other sequels. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that shit too. So
yeah, so what do you guys think?
Yeah, so I'm Mr. Grimreaper 2 with Dark 987, and we'll see you all in the afterlife. Peace.